Hi, I'm Michi, and it's nice to see you back at Daily Reflections. In the last episode, we have been talking about my struggle, but also the pleasure I get from self help books. If you haven't watched it, do it now or afterwards. And today we will touch up on a topic that I actually struggled with for quite some time, and I still do. I also believe that many of us do, and it's the idea or the pursuit on how to eliminate negativity in my or your life. For starters, I mean, it's not a new idea, and we kind of know how negativity and positivity affects us. And of course, we all have that one friend that is always in a good mood and always excited and always smiling, and we're just not. That's okay. But also, there are ways on maybe not to get there, but at least to have a much more positive perspective on everyday life and therefore enjoy it much more. So, when it comes to positivity, one concept that is really important is, and it's not from me, is the four levels of consciousness. And it states that things either, depending on which level you are, things either happen to me, by me, through me, or the weirdest stages as me. And I think it takes quite some time to get to understand what that actually means. It's a very well known concept, especially in Buddhism, and we're not going to talk about that today. But we're talking about like everyday life experiences you and I have. Um, when it comes to that, we usually don't have everything in our life under control. Maybe you do, but at least I don't. And that can be, or those things are like, I get cut off at traffic. Actually, I don't have a car, but I drive sometimes, so getting cut off by another driver isn't really under my control. Or, for example, bad weather. Or a more serious topic, the losing of a good and close friend. But there are still ways on how we can eliminate that kind of negativity, that kind of view we have on things. And again, I still struggle with it on many occasions, but I found one very tangible way on how to improve upon it. And how I'm doing this, or how I approach it, is if I like start my day, I have certain experiences throughout the day, and certain things happen to me. I have some ways on how to deal with them in the moment, but one very critical moment is usually when I either get to talk to a friend or a coworker at work about like how my day was, or once I get home talking to my partner, like the standard question is, "How was your day, honey?" And most of the time, or at least that was the case for me, I usually started thinking immediately about all the negative things, the things I've been struggling with, and it put me into that kind of negative cycle, which first of all drains me out, drains out my partner or the person I'm talking to. And you feel at the end, I mean, you get to steam off a bit, but I don't really feel better afterwards. And once I realized that, and once I was aware of what's actually happening there, and it doesn't happen every day. There are days that are good, there are days where I have more energy, where I can more easily recall all the positive things that happen, all the exciting, inspiring things. But there are those other days, and the way I deal with it today is that I simply don't talk about it. I talk to my friends about it, I talk to my partner about it, and we have that kind of agreement that we simply don't talk about it anymore unless it's really necessary. And now, if you're like, oh my god, but you cannot just put it away, it will come back, just bigger. It's true. That's why I have other channels where I can get rid of that or deal with those kind of feelings, with those kind of memories, thoughts. What I usually do is writing. I have like, I mean, everybody does it, right? But I have kind of a journal. Not only that kind of stuff goes in there, but also like if I have an idea at work or whatever it is, sometimes I just draw into it. But also if I have challenging interactions and I realize that this is coming back to me, then I'll put it in writing, deal with it, reflect upon it, and that's how I get over it. But the more important thing is that I consciously, deliberately don't talk, especially with my partner, about all these negative things. And if there wasn't any positive thing, then we just take a break, we read, we take some time for us, and only once we kind of calm down from our day, from the struggles of our day, only then do we spend really time together and try to get ourselves and the other person into a more positive cycle. Yeah, and that's basically it. It still happens. There are things that I just want to talk about, but on many occasions, it works perfectly well, and I can already tell that it makes my life so much happier and so much more positive, and especially my thinking. And after all, the time I spent with my partner. So think about it as always. Let me hear what you think about it. And maybe you've tried it out yourself. Let me know your experiences. And I'll see you next time with in another episode of Daily Reflections. It was my pleasure. It's Michi. Goodbye.